Hi everyone. So I just wanted to do a Disney wrap-up video just on things that went well and things that we would change for next time, and some of our favorite restaurants, some restaurants that were just okay, just kind of to sum up the whole experience, and then maybe that'll help some of you if you're planning a trip with just tips and learning from our experience, and it'll also help us the next time we plan a trip to kind of look back and look at things that we would kind of tweak and things that really worked well for us. So one of the things we decided that we would like to do differently next time is not splitting the lodging. This was the first time when we split lodging. We stayed the first 3 nights at Fort Wilderness Campground, and then the next 3 nights we stayed at Coronado Springs Resort. And we decided just that it seems like they're not really prepared to do that. We got the impression that they don't do that for a lot of people, just with the van coming to pick us up at different places, and we had to call, and some of our Magical Express passes got confused because they thought that we were checking out halfway through and that we wouldn't need a ride to the airport at the end of 6 days. They thought we needed it at the end of 3 days. So it was a little confusing, and I think it was more complicated than it needed to be. And while we love both places, really you can't go wrong, especially if you're staying at a Disney resort. I've only stayed at the campground and Coronado, but I visited pretty much all of them, and they are all beautiful. Disney has high standards of cleanliness and atmosphere, and you really can't go wrong. And we just decided that mainly you're sleeping there, maybe hanging out at the pool, and just base it on what your needs are and just stick with one place is what we decided. And we actually had a little bit more fun at the campground with the atmosphere, with all the people that were there. Everybody was so friendly, and you run into more people. You get a chance to talk about your trip and your experiences, and you run into people from home, and it's a good time, and the atmosphere is really great for not being in a building, and the weather was perfect, and there are things that you can do, if it's cooler out or if it's going to be raining, to prepare. So we actually thought we would save the money next time and just camp because we enjoy it so much. And the only thing we liked better about Coronado Springs was that the pool was a lot less busy, a whole lot less busy. And but as far as they're the same size, they both have water slides, they both have lounge chairs, and I don't know, you can't really go wrong. So next time we would just stay at one resort and not switch. I also decided that I would try and get some Chaco or Keen or Tiva type sandals, because when you're doing that much walking, either across a resort or across a park, it really takes a toll on your feet, and it's really important that you have good footwear if you want to be comfortable. And I have done the parks in flip-flops, and it's doable, but it's a lot less enjoyable when you have blisters on your feet and they're sore and all that kind of stuff. Some positives were the microfiber towels that we used were amazing, and I had my doubts, and I don't know, Nate got them either through the Army or through, I'm not sure, I can find out if anybody's interested, but they were amazing, and we brought 3 of them. We had 2 bath size microfiber towels that rolled up into almost nothing and packed really well and were really lightweight and super just absorbent and dried you off real fast. And we used them at the water park, we used them at the pool, we used them for showers. They were great. And then the 3rd towel was a little bit smaller, and we just used that for, I don't know what we used that for. I think I used it for my hair one day. I don't remember. But those were amazing to have. Also the stuff sacks, I think he also got through the Army, but I know you can get them through outdoors stores or camping stores, and basically it had like a vacuum seal in it, and so you stuff everything in, and then it's like airtight, and then it has 2 more straps that come over the top to kind of make sure it's extra sealed. And that we kept all of our bedding in there, and granted we didn't have a lot of bedding because we were going to bring sleeping bags, and after looking at the weather we decided that it was going to be really hot, and so we just ended up bringing like a fitted sheet and a flat sheet to put on top and an extra blanket, and we hardly used the extra blanket. It was really warm, and it was actually beautiful because we could open the door to our tent and the big window behind us, and we just have a breeze going through, and it was really pretty, and I slept really well. So the stuffed sacks were also good. One of the things when you're camping is it's very helpful if you bring a suitcase, and I'm not sure. You're fine. Nate wanted to be in my video. I know growing up we had these duffel bags that we used for a few years, and it's really difficult when you're camping because you can't see unless you really pack everything like what you're gonna wear in the order that you're gonna wear it. It's really hard to find things, and you end up like taking the whole bag out just to find one thing that you're needing, and it gets all messed up. And when you have a suitcase, you can still like put your clothes in order, but they stay folded better, and you can open up the suitcase and see everything that you have, and you're not digging in a duffel. So unless it zips across like lengthwise. So I learned that the hard way. Also, the toiletry case I showed in my pre-packing video was amazing, just because it was one of the ones that it's velcroed down like this, and then it unfolds like this, and it has a metal hook, and you just take the hook and you put it on the shower head, and then you have all of your toiletries hanging in the shower. And it's nice because you don't have to bend down and keep things on the floor or try and fit things in a small shelf. So I was really glad that I brought that. Another thing that we did that made things really super comfortable was we split the Disney World actually into 2 halves, and the one half was Magic Kingdom, and basically Magic Kingdom is on Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon, and on those are all of the resorts in that area: the Polynesian Grand Floridian, the Campground, the Contemporary. They're all right there, and there's boats that go back and forth. And so what we did, Wilderness Lodge, I forgot Wilderness Lodge, but what we did is we stayed at the campground, and that way if we wanted to visit resorts, we just took the boats over the lake, we did stuff at the campground, we hung out, we went to Magic Kingdom, all in that area, and we hardly took any buses at all except the buses that were operating in the campground and going from the loops and stuff. And then the second half, we were over in Coronado, which is kind of in the middle of the world, and so we did Downtown Disney was real close, exploring the Art of Animation Resort and the Pop Century were all on that side. The Animal Kingdom Lodge was on that side, and then Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Blizzard Beach, and Typhoon Lagoon, all those parks are on that side. So when you're taking buses, I think also buses, we spent maybe 20 minutes at the most on a bus, which depending on the season, if you're going from one end of the world to the other, it can be really frustrating if you're on a bus for an extended period of time. And so it made it really nice that it shortened all of our bus rides, and everything went smoothly. So we were really glad that we did things that way. That was a bonus to staying in the 2 different resorts. Oh, the other thing when you do that is you're kind of immersed in the atmosphere. When you're in the Magic Kingdom side of things, it's like magical, and you feel like a little kid, and it's you're just kind of immersed in that atmosphere. And then when you go to the other side of things, like Downtown Disney and Typhoon Lagoon and that, it's like the more adult fun, like shopping and eating, and just, it's a different atmosphere, but you're not going back and forth from one to the other, so it feels more realistic. Oh, we also brought our Uno game, which if you remember from my videos, we had Uno, and actually we ended up playing it quite a bit. We would have played it more if the cards hadn't gotten all wet, and they're made to get wet, which is nice for camping, but you have to dry them off or they just kind of stick together and it's a mess. Otherwise, we would have played it more. We played it while we were waiting for our luggage at the campground. We would have played it on the airplane or in the airports, but except that it got wet. And when I go with my family, or when I went with my family before I was married, they always brought Dutch Blitz, and we would go and hang out at different places and play that. And not only was it like a fun way to wind down at the end of like a long day of parks or at the pool in the sun and you're just tired, and a good way to kind of just hang out and have fun with the family, but in case of a rainy day it was always kind of a fallback option that was cozy and just, you know, we could entertain ourselves. So I do recommend playing cards or some kind of a travel game. One of the other things we did was last time was the iPhone applications, and when we had long waits in line, we just played these little games on the iPhone, and it helped time go by faster. And they have an app actually that tells you what fast pass times are and what wait times are, and has a GPS in the map. And so we didn't use that this time, but we did last time, and it was just really nice to kind of be like, oh, we can go and wait here for 20 minutes, or we can go and wait here for an hour. You know, it was nice to see ahead of time, or if you're not sure how to get someplace, you just look up where you were, and you can find like what restaurants are closed. And it's just, I think it's free.